I'm here in the beautiful fenced green pastures of Sug Farm Park in Holly Springs. It's quiet now, but on September 27th, this place will be rocking with one of the Triangle's largest beer festivals, Beericana. More than 40 brewers will be here to provide us with great samples of amazing craft beer. Props? Sorry. You don't want to miss it. Get your tickets now. Hi, I'm Glenn. Dave's behind the camera today. Welcome to another episode of the NC Beer Guys, NC Beer Buzz. We are so privileged today and honored to be in the presence of Mr. Oscar Wong, the founder of Highland Brewery. We're out on the property of Highland, out on the Old Charlotte Road outside of Asheville. We've come to Beer City and we had to talk to the king of Beer City. So Mr. Wong has graciously agreed to see us today. Thanks so much for having us in.
It is my pleasure.
Thank you. So you've told the story 100 times. You're a little bit of an oddity in the sense of you come from a different background, different place, and you wound up in Asheville. Tell us about how you came to Asheville and then how did you get started as a brewer?
Okay. Well, when I got out of college as an engineer, licensed engineer, I found jobs in Boston and San Francisco and then back east to New York. And my wife is from Massachusetts, so getting out of San Francisco wasn't too difficult. I didn't give her a lot of time to think about it. Then I had an engineering business that had several offices around the country. One of them, the Charlotte office, became the surviving entity because I was working on nuclear power plants, new nuclear power plants.
And as they were not making new nuclear power plants.
So that entity in Charlotte actually ended up working on nuclear waste.
Okay.
So I invested into that and that's what I had. So I sold out in 1987. They kept me on for a few years. In 1990, they cut me adrift. I was home for a few years, and then at my wife's recommendation, I was introduced to an award-winning brewer who wanted to start a brewery through a mutual friend. Okay. And I got into it, and I always loved beer.
I always had never brewed yourself before that time?
Oh, in college. No,
in college, you had been.
It doesn't compare. I mean,
I understand. It's not Highland Brew.
That stuff was, you needed the second or third one before the rest of them went down.
Right. But that was your experience at the time.
Right.
And you chose Asheville for a reason, or you were here already?
I was here already as a vacation home.
Okay.
I had 2 years we had a home up here, shuttling back and forth. And frankly, it was my wife's idea that since I had no business in Charlotte, why were we doing both?
Why were we doing both?
I said, you're right. You know, guys get to be like old dogs. You just kind of the same old track.
That's right.
So we said, okay, we'll sell it out.
We'll relocate totally.
And we've never regretted 1 minute of it. We love it here.
Right. And it must have been a huge step because in those days, for the people who don't know, it wasn't like today's craft beer movement. There wasn't a new brewery every 6 months or a year. There were very few.
No, there are none.
And the ones that did come up, it wasn't like a lot of people knew to blaze the trail ahead of you. You were a trailblazer.
We are the first legal brewery in Asheville since Prohibition.
Okay. And when you started Highland, there was not one in existence then.
Correct.
That's right. They had all gone out of business, the old ones.
That's before Prohibition.
Right. And so what made you have the gumption or the pure strength of will to know or think you could make it?
Well, I really love beer. I've had it since I was in high school down in Jamaica. So I had this love of the product. I've always thought of it as being the drink of choice for the general population throughout civilization. So I had an excitement about it, and my wife was really eager for me to go out the house.
Do something.
So a combination of two things kind of worked out. Now, we did go a pretty long time. We went for about 8 years to break even.
Oh, so there were some lean years.
Oh, some.
Okay.
We broke even in our 8th year.
8th year.
And up to that point, my wife was used to think I was a pretty smart guy.
And she was starting to wonder?
No, she was sure I wasn't.
Okay.
But we went ahead and, in fact, to just tell you how it went, she said to me, there are 3 of your buddies that have been after you to get into this business. Why don't you just let them in, and give my minority share just so I can sleep better at night, because I don't want to be married to the only idiot in the business.
You can share the misery.
So, and you know,
Now, so the lean years, what did you relate those to? The fact that there was no market, the people didn't know craft beer?
It's a combination of many things. We were developing a market from scratch. That's the first thing.
Mm-hmm.
Secondly, it really wasn't what it is today. People didn't know what. There was a handful of people who cared for it, but not too many. And the fact is, we did dump a lot of beer trying to get it right.
Okay.
And John Light and I, from the very beginning, we agreed nothing goes out unless we're proud of it.
Okay. So no half-assed efforts to, we're just got to get something out the door. Yeah. It was quality or it was nothing.
Right. And the banks were on our case, and my wife was on my case, but you know what?
But you had to stick to your philosophy.
First things first, yeah.
That's right. And so that was in 94, 95 you opened. So
Opened in 94.
So until the early 2000s, before you actually saw a return of profit to any significant degree.
When we broke through 2000, 2001,
okay,
we started to take off.
And in the first years, you were totally local, just draft?
Or we started
some distribution at all?
We always went to a distributor.
Okay.
We never self-distributed.
Never self.
Except for a short while when we had, I guess down in Greenville, for a short while we were without a distributor, so we got to do that.
Right.
But generally, specifically, we did exclusively through distributors.
And you believe that's the way to go?
No.
Okay. Not necessarily.
One of the great things about business in America, you're free to try anything you want, and they all have different niches.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't say one is better than the other.
So again, it was draft only at first, or did you always have bottles?
No, draft only at first.
Draft only at first. Some local accounts, and a brew.
Then we went to 22-ounce bottles with bombers.
Right.
And we got a lot of requests from our distributor. You need to get in 12 ounce. We can't build it up.
Because bombers were a fairly unknown animal in those days, I guess.
Yeah. Right. But all we could do, we did it by hand.
Oh, you were hand capping 12.
Oh, well, we had 4 spigots, and it was flowing all the time. And we had people who were good at juggling, and and then somebody would cap it on the phone. It was.
And you were not always on this property.
We've only been here 8 years.
Okay, you started downtown.
Right, under the basement of a historic building below Barley's Taproom.
All right.
And we were there for 12 years.
Okay.
Longer than we planned, but I want to be careful.
And you did all your production right on that small facility? Or you had a production site somewhere else?
Until the last year and a half that we were down there, we actually got a brewery up in Maryland. We tried to go around closer. I kept going farther and farther to find somebody that we could work with.
To brew your beer?
Just selected bottles.
I see.
All draft always came out of here.
All right.
And most of the bottles. But their ability to brew at a bigger level allowed us to increase our...
Step up.
Yeah. So once we did that for a year and a half until we moved in here. And as soon as we proved out our system here, mm-hmm. which they were aware of.
Right. You were ready to go.
Yeah.
They knew it was a temporary situation.
Right. Yeah.
So the market and the whole beer scene is so different now than when you first broke the ground. What do you relate? Why is that? Why is the craft beer movement what it is today?
I think nationally, the same thing has happened in coffee, food. It used to be you'd have a standard few brands across the country, and which was a complete opposite of what it was right after the war. They were just, but then they kept getting bigger and more centralized. Mm-hmm. They got good price. You can see like Walmart and all that. Well, it's going to switch over eventually. You kind of get to a point where it doesn't really meet their local requirements. Mm-hmm. So
because it's too far removed from the local community,
right.
And the demands and the taste and the whole thing.
And I think people just getting, well, the country is fairly well off up to that point, and they said we have the disposable income that we can actually do some things, and they start getting exposure to a lot of things. You can't go in and buy just vanilla ice cream anymore.
There's a whole freezer full of selections.
There's different coffees, there's different everything. So the same thing with beer. It started slowly. In fact, we're exporting it. Not we. categories exporting to Europe.
Mm-hmm.
They used to think they had the lockdown.
Yeah, it was coming the other way, right?
Oh, they're starting to learn that the innovation. We have a free society, and that's what the biggest thing about it. People are free to fail.
And free to create, and free to grow and be all they can be. And that serves the community.
Exactly. I have a quote from a German brewer that we met with a couple years ago. He said, you know, in America, you make fantastic beers and you make crappy beers.
Okay.
In Germany, we make neither. I thought about that for a while, and in fact, he's right. The regulations are so stringent that entry coming in, you got to meet certain requirements, minimum, and development, it's held back because of regulations.
So you're,
it's high quality, kind of boring.
but always in that middle ground. You've always hit the benchmark, but you maybe never hit the next benchmark or the highest benchmark. You're never all you can be.
And they've been that for 100 years.
Which is why we now send beer that way.
So
That's right.
I'm proud of the fact that we have a free country, and in fact, look at myself. I'm a Chinese guy from Jamaica with a Scottish brewery
Right.
in Asheville, North Carolina.
Right. And it's a unique story,
It
obviously.
doesn't get any more mixed up than that.
And you were ahead of the curve in so many ways. I mean, you saw the future and it's realized. So we hear all the time about saturation points. And particularly you guys here in Asheville and Buncombe County with, well, I guess 25 in Buncombe County or by some count or close by?
It's under 20, but
okay.
Asheville alone is 14.
And so you're the guy sitting at the top of the heap, maybe.
Not anymore.
Oh, okay. And how does that feel, or what do you think of that? How does that work?
It's a big challenge.
Okay.
I never expected to have Oscar Blues and Sierra Nevada, New Belgium come to town.
Right.
That's not what I thought we could get. Maybe a slightly bigger than we are now. Kind of settle down a little bit and enjoy it. You know, we're on a track now. In order for us to be viable, we have to actually go to a much larger
production
overall, because we're too small to be big and too big to be small.
The little guys maybe can stay little and make it, and the big boys are big boys.
And they're chipping away at our heels. Big boys coming and sitting on our heads. So it's not a comfortable position for a long term.
But there's not, but so many of you in that middle ground that are that big. I guess it's you and Foothills and some others that are
they're
size enough to have that concern.
We were the largest local in the state.
Okay.
Now we're going to be very quickly the fourth largest with the three big boys coming up. Of the local grown in the state, we're still the largest. Some of them might pass us up, but we're not in a race. We're just very steady. Because
it's still about quality, not getting ahead of your capacity. Yeah. You don't intend or want to do more than you can do well.
You got to do it. Do it right, do it well. Otherwise, we won't do it.
So for our viewers, the future of Highland, you said you're transitioning to a less role.
Yeah.
And your daughter is going to step in as the president.
Yes.
And what does that mean for the brewery?
Well, she's been with us for 3 years, and they've been aware of it and welcome her. In fact, years ago, before all this started to happen, they had a little discussion without my knowing, and wondered, well, you know, the old man's kind of old.
Well, that's how it happens when it's not.
What happened to him? If something were to happen to him, who would we accept? And there was only one consensus opinion. My daughter. And I was very proud of that.
Sure.
When I approached her with that.
Because she had spent her career in something else. She was printing or something.
Yeah, she was in publishing.
Publishing.
With, yearbooks, and did rather well. And so I tried for years to interest her, but working twice as hard as she did and making a third of what she was making didn't make sense to her. It still doesn't, but I have to thank her husband for.
That's right. That's right.
Are you crazy? You don't want to get into that business?
Right. And she'll continue the legacy, and that feels great personally.
Oh,
I mean, that must mean to pass that on to the family.
It's a dream.
And you couldn't hardly imagine that in '94 or '95. That you'd even have anything to pass on, but particularly of this quality.
Actually, I don't know if she mentioned to you, back in '96, 2 years in the business, she was out of school about 4 years, and she said, Dad, I really want to work in sales. I said, oh, no. You go find your way.
Right.
And she took it well, but now she's admitted to me ticked her off pretty good.
Right, because she really thought she should just come in and have her.
But I'm so glad it worked out this way because she went on and did her own thing.
And she saw the world not from Mr. Wong's eyes.
There you go.
Right. Thanks so much for having us in today.
My pleasure.
Again, it's such a pleasure to meet you and to have a chance to sit down with you and all the great things you're doing in Highland.
Well,
congratulations and good luck to you and to Leah. And enjoy some oatmeal porter.
That's my favorite.
I ordered that. He said, well, Mr. Wong will have one too. So that's great. Until next time, this has been an episode of the NC Beer Buzz with the NC Beer Guys. And remember, drink local and keep your beer dollars in North Carolina. And we'll catch you later, guys.